Alright, hey guys, another day at the park. The weather is immaculate, so I have a very good energy today, which I very much like. So I hope you can enjoy my energy today. Now, I want to talk about intuition a little bit in this video because I believe that it is a very powerful source of information that many of us don't tap into. Many of us don't understand how powerful our intuition really is. And I think that maybe you grew up in a situation where your intuition has been suppressed. People telling you that, oh, what you're feeling in your gut, it doesn't really matter. Stay focused, stay logical. It's just your emotions and it doesn't really matter. Now, I'm here to tell you that I do believe that our gut feelings can be incredibly reliable sources of information, but it's really important for you to know the difference between an anxiety response or a true intuitive hunch, right? So, as I was journaling this morning, I was writing down a few things I was grateful for, right? And I really like to practice letting my intuition share itself with me as I am writing. So, as I'm writing things that I'm grateful for, I like to just let the first thing that comes to mind and I write it down without judging myself for it. Sometimes it's something silly, like I am grateful for my long hair. I am grateful for my cup of tea this morning. They seem silly, trivial things. And I could feel a small resistance against writing them down because I was thinking to myself, oh, it's so silly. Like, why would you be grateful for that? But my intuition, it came to me and I let it out and I decided to not resist it. I let it flow. And after I finish writing it down, it makes sense. Of course, I'm grateful for my long hair. Of course, I'm grateful for the tea that I could drink this morning. It's a beautiful experience to drink tea in the morning. It's a privilege, right? So it's not silly. Now, I believe that cultivating your intuition, learning to really listen, is a skill. And sometimes I talk about this on my channel here, but the moment I really started to understand how to tap into my intuition is due to something called brain spotting. It's a psychological therapeutic technique, mostly for trauma purposes, so releasing trauma or integrating trauma. It's a very interesting technique to cope with difficult situations you've been through in your life. And the main idea is that your eye movements, your eye positions, they are attached to certain states in your brain. Certain memories are attached to certain eye positions. And if you keep your eye position fixed with a ruler, so the therapist actually moves a ruler and you move your eyes, you follow the pointer, and then at some point you keep it there, and your system actually processes certain traumatic experiences by breathing through it, by bringing awareness to your feelings. Awareness in and of itself is transformative. So by bringing the awareness to your suppressed feelings, suppressed thoughts and emotions, and by allowing the awareness of the therapist to mingle with your awareness, this is a healing practice, right? But it's a very intuitive thing. The therapist moves the pointer and you kind of have to intuitively say when to stop the pointer. And it's really a tapping into your inner knowing. And by doing this type of therapy, I became familiar with following my intuition, because there is no right or wrong, right? They move the pointer, and whether you let them stop here or whether you let them stop there, it's all okay. It's a matter of following your intuition. And this is really where I came to understand that, okay, tapping into your intuition is really about setting aside judgment. You have to remove the judgment about your hunches, right? If you have a hunch to, when you're walking through the city and you decide to go a different direction than you're used to, follow that hunch. Don't judge yourself for it, because it might just lead you to discovering something about yourself that you never would have discovered otherwise if you would have stick to the path, right? Same thing if you are journaling about something, or you're writing, or you're texting someone, and you have this hunch to share something with them, but you judge yourself for it. Recognize this judgment, set aside the judgment, and follow the hunch anyway. And of course, I'm not talking about a hunch to call them names. That's not what I'm talking about. It's more about, maybe there is something you've wanted to tell that person and you felt afraid to do it, but now this hunch speaks to you, and it feels as if it's the right moment to share this with this person. Follow that hunch. Intuition is such a powerful information channel. It's such a useful tool. It's such a tremendous source of intelligence. And the more I learn to tap into my intuition, the more I know that it is. And I want to invite you to treat it with respect and understand that there is so many things that our bodies know. There is so much information that our body processes on a second to second basis, right? Your skin receives pressure, temperature, the wind, the sounds. Your bowels are working, your heart is pumping, your blood is flowing. All these things you're not necessarily consciously aware of. It's all information. And your system, your brain, is processing everything. So our conscious awareness, the focus, is such a limited information channel, right? There is things happening around us all the time. And I believe that our bodies pick up on these signals, and it's intuition that translates this into a visceral feeling. But it's subtle. It's really subtle. You will have to really tap into it. You will have to really learn to listen. You have to really come to feel it, to understand it, to notice it. So I want to invite you to pay a little bit more attention to your intuition sometimes. It's this hunch, a small flash of an idea or something that you feel the urge to do, something that kind of feels right. And I want to invite you to explore this a little bit more for yourself, to have faith that it will guide you towards the things that are meant for you to be discovered. And know that usually, especially in the beginning, once you start to pay more attention to your intuition, it will be accompanied by judgment. So a good metric or a good indicator that you are close to figuring out intuitive messages is when there is judgment present. So I want to invite you to, if you're having thoughts about, oh, that's stupid, or it's so silly, or I shouldn't do that, to set aside this judgment and to take a look. What is it really? Is it really that silly? And if you are convinced that it is, try it anyway. Try it anyway. If you have this hunch to eat a piece of fruit, try it anyway. And evaluate afterwards how you felt. Did it feel good? Did it feel good to act right to you? Because intuition is telling you things that are right to you. And the more you practice this, the more you will get in tune and in sync with this information channel. And I am sure it will lead you to places you've never even imagined you could go. I am a big fan of intuition. Like the past few years, it's been something that I've learned more and more to trust, and it hasn't let me down. So hopefully it can do the same for you. And I am very curious to hear about your experiences. So if you think this is something you want to experiment with, please do, and let me know in the comments if you had any interesting revelations while doing so. And on that note, I want to end today's video, and I want to thank you very much for being here with me, for sharing this little moment together. As always, thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.